There is a movement, an organization named Obidient Movement, which is an organization in honor of Peter Obi, the former governor of Anambra State and the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 presidential election. The organization, called Obidient Movement, is much smaller than the supporters of Peter Obi because every right-thinking Nigeria who desires positive change away from the retrogression of Nigeria under the All Progressives Congress will want to support the presidential aspiration of Peter Obi for a number of reasons. In the first instance, the so-called All Progressives Congress is not progressive, but rather retrogressive, perpetuating the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, started in 2009 by the presidency of Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, with Goodluck Ebele Asikwe Jonathan as his vice president. And the war perpetuated since 2009 till date because the successive presidents, Goodluck Ebele Asikwe Jonathan, Umaru Musa Goodluck Ebele Asikwe Jonathan, Muhammadu Buhari, and now Bola Ahmed Tinubu have continued to perpetuate the war, notwithstanding the costs in human lives and the economic resources of Nigeria. So that is a major reason for economic degradation and insecurities, to which the presidency of Muhammadu Buhari on the platform of the so-called All Progressives Congress added S-men terrorism. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, also of the so-called All Progressives Congress, has been perpetuating both the war and the S-men terrorism, to which he has added the declaration and the fact all subsidies are gone, starting with fuel subsidy on the very day he became Nigeria's president, and not long after declaring all subsidies gone. And life has become more miserable than ever before for Nigerians. And the promise in 2023 was that with time, in about 6 months' time, fuel price will begin to subside. But rather than subsiding, it has been escalating. When the All Progressives Congress, so-called, came to power in 2015, the transport by bus from Tanke to University of Ilorin was 20 naira. 20 naira. As I speak, small buses take 400 naira to University of Ilorin from Tanke. Bigger buses take 300 naira. So compare and contrast. Nothing to compare. So even by the time Tinubu came to power, University of Ilorin was 150, 200 naira. As of today, the minimum is 300 naira. So look at the distance. Rather than improving the situation has been getting worse. Or what do you expect when somebody says fuel subsidy is gone, other subsidies are gone, and claiming to be transferring funds to indigent households and claiming to make loan available to needy students? And you ask yourself, how many needy students can you provide loan? In the ocean of indigent students with workers paid less than living wage. So workers' households have become indigent households because the workers are paid less than living wage, and they cannot patronize producers and artisans because they have little money based on high cost of living. So that is this way. So who in his or her right mind will not support Peter Obi's emergence as Nigeria's president? If only because he represents what we call North-South or South-North and zonal justice. And so this video, I have in mind the prediction of Daniel Buala, a supporter of the re-election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who said that no political party will displace Tinubu in 2027. And when he was asked to explain, he said all the opposition political parties are in disarray. And so Peter Obi, who people are hoping will win the election, will not be on the ballot box because all the opposition political parties are in disarray. And is he telling lies? Those of you who misunderstand him, and you I don't know if you want to curse him or to demonize him when he's saying the obvious. PDP, Labour Party, the African Democratic Congress, which one is stable? Even the organizers of the coalition are creating confusion for the coalition, saying that the presidential ticket is open to North and South, is open to anybody because of democracy. And I say, where do you put justice? Is this the democracy above justice? We are talking of the only zone in the South that is yet to produce Nigeria's president since 1999. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is there now, cares less about justice, but his own aspiration at the expense of Nigeria. Not just at the expense of the Southeast, because he's there for self-aggrandizement. If he were not, he would not declare all subsidies gone and be sinking Nigeria in debt. Worse debt than his predecessors who did not remove all subsidies as he has done. So he's there for self-aggrandizement, like Muhammadu Buhari, who doubled himself as Nigeria's petroleum minister, accounting for nothing as petroleum minister or as Nigeria's president. And Tinubu has put himself in Buhari's shoes. And worse than that, all subsidies are gone. So who is the right-thinking person who will not support the presidential aspiration of Peter Obi? If only because Nigeria has been retrogressing rather than advancing. under the so-called All Progressives Congress, word of mouth. It is as empty as renewed hope agenda. So all subsidies are gone means renewed hope. Some people have given it a beautiful name, economic reform. It's like talking of earned academic allowance that the whole world knows is not earned academic allowance. Because earned academic allowance, workers' allowances are not paid to their union's leaders, but to the workers who earn them. But that's the fraud. Earned academic allowance that is not earned academic allowance. Fuel subsidy where none exists. So this is what we are battling with. Yes, even if Peter Obi said he will remove fuel subsidy, did he say he would do so single-handedly as a dictator like Bola Ahmed Tinubu? But now any politician mentioning fuel subsidy should be stoned to death, because they are killing Nigerians with their fraud, making life miserable for people in an oil-producing country, in an oil-exporting country. So, but where I'm going is that do not throw away the prediction of Daniel Buala. Take him serious. And I've said what he said without being in opposition. He stands supporter of Peter Obi's presidential administration, but warning that this so-called African Democratic Congress that is playing confusion around his presidential candidate, like Abubakar Atiku, itching to become Nigeria's president, coming from the north, without minding that somebody from the north has just spent 8 years, and that the south, if he had any sense of justice, but as barren as Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who didn't care about zonal justice. The same way Atiku Abubakar does not care about north-south justice. So if somebody lacks sense of justice, he lacks sense of justice. Otherwise, let Atiku demonstrate to us that he's better than Peter Obi. Let him demonstrate to us that he's better than Peter Obi. Or why must Peter Obi not be there? If it is about marginalizing Peter Obi's southeast, then forget about Nigeria altogether. Let everybody to your tent. It's better than thinking you can marginalize a whole zone and expect peace and progress. It can never happen. War against Boko Haram can never make Nigeria to advance. Herdsmen terrorism will never make Nigeria to advance. Removing subsidies from all basic necessities of life and paying workers pittance will never make Nigeria to work. Marginalizing the southeast or any other zone will never make Nigeria to work. So, Daniel Buala has said what I've been saying, that ADC is in disarray. No focus, no seriousness. This is our presidential candidate. We are supporting him. Even if we will have a presidential primaries, everybody should be drumming support for Peter Obi. Simple, straightforward. But anybody can become a presidential candidate. Either you come from north or south. Either you are, oh my God. You are hiding behind a needle. I have told you. The African Democratic Congress, if it fails to support Peter Obi's presidential candidacy, forget about it. Is it? Aha, that's it. So, and I've also said to Peter Obi, if it is PDP that is in good standing with Nigeria's National Independent Commission, Nigeria's Independent Electoral Commission, if it is good PDP that is in good standing and says we are offering you our presidential ticket, grab it. Anybody in ADC, in any other political party who believe in justice will come to you. If it is ADC that offers you, I'm appealing to PDP, support him as a party and say we have no other than Peter Obi. But if it is PDP that he has adopted because of the the disorientation of the founding those who are controlling the ADC, then embrace him. You will see people trooping to your side, because there are many Nigerians who are serious, want positive change, and they don't think that it is injustice of democracy because we are democratic. We want to throw our presidential garbage. Democracy without justice, what does it mean? Exploitation, deception, confusion. That's all. So, finally, Daniel Buala has lent you a piece of advice. Even if it is inadvertent, he has done it. And you should make him to regret it. And I'm talking to Peter Obi and the Obidient Movement. Now, what is the political party that is in good standing with Independent National Electoral Commission that will give Peter Obi the presidential ticket in 2027? That is what Daniel Buala has said. Indirectly, inadvertently, but it's a hard fact, hard truth, and truth can be bitter.